To the Force always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit. Let's get on with the show with the news, views, reviews, and interviews. Well, I usually say no news is good news, but today, my friends, Starfighter, we have some news. There is an interview online at the moment done in the last couple of days. Shawn Levy, the director, I think slash writer as well, of Starfighter, which is coming out in 2027, has pretty much answered a big question on Star Wars minds' heads. Is this a prequel? Is this a sequel? Well, he said it's none of them, especially being after 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9. It is not a sequel. This is what Shawn Levy has said in an interview. You can see this online. You've just got to check out for where that would be. Just look up his name, latest interview. And he is also in filming, still in filming with Starfighter. He said he's going back on Monday, and so I think he's just having a little bit of a time out. But this story, Starfighter, is going to be new, fresh, and start all over again in a sort of way to understand. But anyway, so that's Shawn Levy. That's a big news. Now, there's no other news at the moment, but that is quite big news. You know, we've got some sort of word out there about Starfighter, the more exciting project, I think, amongst a lot of us at the moment, or part of us, let's say. Anyway, so that's the news. Let's get into views. Views is my story idea in Star Wars. It means I accept the Star Wars story for what it is, from start to finish. I accept it. I just like to sort of put my 2 cents in and just, have a bit of fun. Well, it's actually about Shawn Levy talking about the sequel, the non-sequel actually, that he's creating, Starfighter. My story idea is a sort of a bit of a twist. Technically, is it a sequel? Well, I think it sort of is. Even though it won't have the characters and familiarities from episode 7, 8, 9, or even the other ones, it's still going to use a Star Wars type of universe, and it's still 5 years after the events of Rise of Skywalker. In a sense, it is a sequel. And which is a very interesting point here. Now, I am a person that thinks, some mention of the characters that were in 7, 8, and 9 is relevant. Just a small amount of information, it would be good. It also would be good, starting absolutely clean slate. But if the intention is to create more of these Star Wars films after, Starfighter, which I'm assuming still it's episode 10. I'm assuming it's not episode 10. I'm assuming. And I think it's going to be announced at the next Star Wars celebration that's in LA. That's my opinion. But I think you can't just dismiss the whole thing in this universe. It is the whole rebel fleet, the whole empire, as massive as it was, appeared at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Not like that no one is going to know. There's got to be some sort of mention. But it's also interesting, as I was sort of leading to before, that, see, this word woke, I can't stand this word woke. It's so annoying. But anyway, I find that when you're going to limit yourself in story ideas, like story writing or, directing, it's considered, if you're trying to sell it to a certain type of audience or whatever it is, it's sort of considered woke, but as far as I know. But I think, personally, the fact that this next film, Starfighter, is got nothing to do with, anything to do with 7, 8, or 9, anything with those characters, when it is only 5 years after, seems to be like they're conforming to the hardcore Star Wars fans that just hate the sequel episodes 7, 8, 9. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. It's basically conforming that, we're conceding to an extent. I also believe that Sean Levy is creating a brand new sort of original thing. But the last time we got this, an original Star Wars film, was The Last Jedi. Now, I will put my hand up and say, it did have a lot of inconsistencies about it, but I accept the story for what it is. Now, where the story is with going into Starfighter, it is got to be relevant to the storytelling. Anyway, that is my story idea. I think there should be relevancy to some sort of relevancy to 7, 8, 9 characters, or just areas or something. It's got to happen. Whether it's in the first Starfighter film, second or third, if there's ones that follow, we don't know, but that's what I think. Anyway, so let's get into reviews. Reviews this time is going to be something else that's controversial. But when I got this particular thing, this is a unique... Now, I could sell it, but this is not really something that you would sell for a high price, only because it's a... So what it is, it's a photo fan card of Jar Jar Binks, and autographed by the actual actor. I got at Star Wars, I think it was Chicago. In Chicago. This was, look, I'm not a big Jar Jar Binks fan. I'm not a big Darth Maul fan. But I just thought Jar Jar Binks to this day was just another Star Wars alien. Yes, it was a bit goofy. In fact, he's based on Goofy from Disney. That's what George Lucas created the big ears especially for, and the goofiness he gets up to. But this here is an autographed photo card from Jar Jar Binks, and I've forgotten his name at the moment, my God, Ahmed Best, the actor who played him, and I hold this very high for the struggles he went through, for the character he portrayed. I thought it was good, not great, but good, but this here is a 10 out of 10. It's actually got, also, if you look really close, down here, it's authentication that it is signed by him, by Topps. So that is a big time collector item that I have. 10 out of 10. Anyway, let's get into interviews. Interviews is always about Michael from Werribee South. Let's get into them. So, what is Padme Amidala's favourite food? Well, it's got to come from Naboo, her home planet. Cheru fruit. It's juicy and it's sweet. She likes juicy and sweet fruit. And yes, that's what she likes. Cheru fruit. I think that's how you pronounce it. So let's also... The next question is actually still by Michael from Werribee South. Padme's saying, I have no time for you now. I must first liberate the planet. What does that mean? Well, it was not exactly said that way, but... she was a people's person. She was about the people of her planet. She's about bringing peace to the planet rather than being this big empire. She was just a very peaceful person trying to bring people together, especially in a time of mayhem when the whole episode 1 started. There was the first lot of disputes that caused war, and it was created, manipulated by Mr. Palpatine, that ended up being the Emperor, the bad man. But anyway, she was about the people. Now, the next question Michael has is, Yoda's saying do or do not, there is no try. What does this mean? Well, it's about the action. It's about doing something rather than trying. Trying is sort of a bit half-hearted. But if you do it, you're going to do it. Whether you succeed or not, at least you're doing it. It's like if you're going to go in a marathon, just do the marathon. You know, don't try and get yourself to the starting line. Get yourself to the starting line and do it. Just do whatever result you get. And I've done that a number of times. Marathons. Anyway, more questions from Microphone Wherever South. Can you believe it? What attracted Padme to Anakin, especially considering their age difference and differing political views? Well, they sort of had similar sort of views at sometimes, but I'd say the simple attraction, boy meets girl, girl meets boy. That was, you know, and Anakin was pretty adamant in being with this person, and Padme was very seduced by not the dark side, but by him, even though he fell to the dark side. But you know, it's just a simple boy and girl attraction. That's what happened, essentially. Anyway, the last question is, how did no one know about Anakin and Padme? They literally lived together and slept in the same bed. Where did they think Anakin went or lived? Well, that's a very good question. It's one of those movie questions that I think can only be answered really by, the the hardcore, which is George Lucas. But I think the best way to explain that in a theory of mine is that Anakin used a lot of clouding of people's minds to block people understanding they were together. The only person that sort of knew and did know was Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was just getting a bit fearful that they were sort of spending a lot of time. He actually mentioned it in episode 3. But yeah, so there was, I'd say Anakin was that strong with the Force, he was clouding a lot of people's minds. Creeping into that dark side element early on. Anyway, that is the show. The Force always. Until next time, my friends, keep rocking.